Okay, guys, I think we are good to go. So, for those who have joined us, I just want to say welcome to this webinar. Going to basically go through kind of how a Facebook ads agency can sort of generate their own leads, and also you can build a nurtured lead pool. In theory, to have people queuing up to do business with you. Before we start, can everyone hear me? Okay, can see the screen. If you could just maybe add a comment, or maybe let me know if you're a freelancer or a contractor. Great, thanks, Cameron. Great, thank you. I also want to apologise in advance for any screaming 3-year-olds who might try and enter as well. So yeah, that isn't me screaming, it's a little child in the house. Cool, okay, good. So today, as mentioned, I want to kind of share with you what we do within our agency, LTW Digital. I'm going to deliver a lot of value today. I'm not going to hold back. I just want to be clear that at the end, I will be making you an offer to take the next step. I just want to be transparent up front, just so there's no surprises. I'm sure a lot of you have been on webinars before and then kind of know the drill, but I just want to be clear on that. And also, if you could maybe ask your questions via the Q&A section on Zoom. I'll try my best to get through them sort of throughout the webinar today, but I'll answer all of them at the end if that's okay. Cool, so I'm Hitesh. I'm a founder of a Facebook ads agency called LTW Digital. We work mainly in the financial services niche, but it didn't start off that way. We worked in sort of all niches under the sun, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have done. And we work with sort of financial advisors of all sizes globally as well. So I've been very privileged and lucky to do it. We have worked across other niches, including e-com, small businesses, local businesses, you name it. We've also done sort of Google, LinkedIn as well. We work sort of on the retainer-based models and sort of pay-per-lead models too. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen retainers dry up recently with the coronavirus, but also at the same time, there may have been an increase in pay-per-lead sort of campaigns as well. I've been doing sort of Facebook ads for around 7 years myself, mainly through my own SaaS-based businesses. So I've got a lot of experience just kind of taking people through the user journey more than anything as well. Okay, so what am I going to cover? Quite simple, really, how Facebook ad freelancers and agencies can generate their own leads and become the go-to person in that particular niche. So this is going to be for Facebook ad agencies and freelancers who've ideally got some clients already and who know how to sort of run Facebook ads at a certain level. Ideally, you've done sort of training from Kat Howell, Jeff Miller, or Alex Fedotov in the e-commerce space, just so that you've got a good level of understanding. It's not an issue, but it's always good that we're speaking to people that have got good grounding as well. So if you can turn off all mobile devices, social media, take notes, and as mentioned, I will answer all questions at the end. Okay, so the biggest problem I'm seeing is that a lot of Facebook ad agencies and freelancers don't know how to generate their own leads, which is, for me, crazy actually. You guys deliver day in, day out for your clients, but when it comes to your own campaigns, it just doesn't seem to work for whatever reason. And this is kind of the main problem I want to address today in particular. I mean, out of those on the call today, I'd love to know if this is a problem for you. If you just want to say yes or no in the chat. If you don't want to answer, don't worry, it's not a name and shame. Or just be good just to see kind of if this is an issue for you as well. No, I think everyone's gone shy, which is fine. I think the other challenge as well is that there are lots of requests in sort of Facebook groups where people say, and we see these sort of posts, they're looking for sort of Facebook as agencies and freelancers to help them out with their campaigns. And there's two things really. How does an agency or freelancer stand out? So how do you stand out amongst everyone else that replies yes to this? As you can see in this particular one, there's around 19 comments. But then also, how does the person posting the job pick as well? Because everyone claims to do Facebook ads. Whether they do it properly or not is a different thing. And I'm sure there are lots of people out there who've also been kind of burnt too. So that's kind of another observation I'm seeing, and it's something which I'm wanting to, with what I'm sharing with you today, will hopefully sort of will address this sort of challenge or opportunity, if you like, to stand out as well. But because a lot of businesses or even agencies don't have the predictable way to grow their Facebook ads business, they're going to be stuck. They're going to get to a point where they're going to go bust, as we've seen sort of recently. Lots of freelancers and agencies have lost their clients, or they don't have a reliable source to generate leads. So they then become a bit stuck. So the strategy which I want to go through today is, these are proven for my agency, RTW Digital, and we're actively using them as well. So they're not theory. These are ones we're actively using. I'm going to cover pick your niche, lead generation, so the strategies we kind of use, and how to lead with authority and value as well. So they're the three sort of sections I want to cover today. So the first one is pick your niche. So, excuse me, there are no shortages of people that can do Facebook ads. And sort of as mentioned previously, we're everywhere. Facebook have made it incredibly easy to create campaigns, and it's, if you offer Facebook ads, there's loads of us. And I think one thing which I've certainly seen since we've niched down to financial services is a lot better results, because we've got that laser focus as well. So I'm not saying just focus on one niche, but if you can focus on one niche to deliver, it's going to make things a lot easier down the line. So how do you pick a niche? I mean, pick a niche that you can deliver in or have some experience. That's kind of one thing I recommend. It doesn't necessarily mean if you're just starting out Facebook ads, you could have experience in a previous life. So my day job was a software project manager in the financial services space. So had a good amount of experience in that niche. And after sort of doing Facebook ads for sort of a lot of niches and seeing what works and what doesn't, we decided to go on that. I think this might be obvious, but you want to pick with sort of a niche that could have high average order value. So the initial sale of that product or service is high, or the lifetime value of that sort of customer is high as well. So what I mean by that is, you may make a sale through Facebook ads, but then over the course of a lifetime, you may sell more on the back end. So which just gives you more to play with, really. So if you are selling sort of $5 t-shirts or widgets, it's going to be very hard to make money from sort of Facebook top of funnel as well, not unless you've got your cost per acquisition down to silly sort of figures, and your conversion rates are pretty good as well. Once you pick that niche, you want to make it your mission to live and breathe it. So I don't just mean in terms of how to do Facebook ads for it. I mean, really understand how that business operates, and really what makes them tick. So all this information is going to contribute to the success of a campaign as well, because if you can show an interest or have a good understanding as well, you're not only going to deliver campaigns profitably and convert really well, it's going to make the sales process and stand out when you are sort of pitching for work a lot easier as well, because everyone can see that you've got experience and lots of case studies and testimonials in this particular niche as well. So you really want to find out what are the pain points, both for them in terms of your client and their customers, their fears, their interests and desires, their competitors, but also yours too, in that niche. And I think you've got to think sort of both direct and indirectly as well. Sorry, I'm just going to take a quick drink. And what I mean by that is, if you're, say, targeting people who may need a mortgage, you may sort of use mortgage as an interest, although they could be a mixture of two, because you could have someone who's obviously actively looking for a mortgage, but also at the same time, there could be just a mortgage advisor. So that audience is going to be split, and you're going to have to use your ad copy in your funnel to call them out. I think also there's indirect interest as well. So they think about the process someone goes through from buying a house. if you think about the sales process, what does someone do from start to finish? And really take that and use that in your funnel as well, because like, for example, life insurance is booming in the UK because there's a clear need for it. But everyone's doing the same old ads and same old targeting. So what they're doing is they're targeting broad, literally just doing carpet bombing across the UK, but we're seeing life insurance ads everywhere. I've got a few clients where it's working well in terms of they're niching down, even sub-niching down, which I'll come on to in a second, where they're actually targeting life insurance or income protection for agency nurses. So although the audiences are going to be smaller, you are going to stand out a lot more as well. So what sounds better? I'm Hitesh from L2W Digital, leading Facebook ads agency. Or I'm Hitesh from L2W Digital, a leading Facebook ads agency financial advisors. So even when you're pitching in posts, as we've just seen, if you mention that particular niche in there and even give some more results, you're going to stand out already before you've even sort of shared some results too. So there's loads of niches to go at. Financial services are a good one and a hot one at the moment, given sort of the global crisis. There's e-com, dentists, construction, software dev. There's loads. And as mentioned, you may want a sub-niche. So although financial services, you've got sort of life insurance, health insurance, pensions, etc. You may want to just pick on one of those and focus on that. So again, you are going to have a smaller audience. However, there's nothing wrong with that, because majority of you on the call may be a freelancer or maybe just a smallest agency. So growing, you're not going to serve all these customers all on one go. So starting small isn't necessarily a bad thing. And sometimes you can grow too quickly, which could have the sort of counter effect as well, especially when it comes on to sales and boarding, which I'll touch upon later on as well. Okay, so I just want to go through kind of the lead generation strategies which we use in our agency. Now, this is just my opinion. There are 100 million ways you can generate leads for your agency. There's endless amounts of online and offline channels you could use. But for me, as a Facebook ads agency, you need to be able to demonstrate you can generate leads from Facebook ads yourself. I know a lot of gurus say it doesn't matter, but for me personally, if you're trying to get clients this way yourself, they can see firsthand the exact funnels you're using, and they're very observant through the process. I've had a few clients where they've noticed everything I've done, from the adverts to retargeting, the email, and even kind of what I've done in other funnels as well. And they've realized that, okay, if you're doing this for yourself, it's got to work, and it's going to work for me. So I know this is going to divide attention, but ultimately it's going to depend on a few other things in terms of cost per acquisition and also conversion rates as well. If you are going to get a better channel, a better sort of client acquisition elsewhere, then that's fine, but it's just kind of my opinion really. So our main sort of traffic and lead gen sources are Facebook ads, obviously, cold email, Facebook groups, and kind of that's what I want to go through. So I just want to share through the Facebook ads funnel we use. So probably this screenshot's a bit blurry, but we run sort of ads to recruit financial advisors into our world, and we'll typically use a lead generation campaign or a conversion campaign. We'll give away a free guide, which I'll come on to in a second. We then invite them into our own Facebook group, which again I'll come on to in a second as well. And we then send them a 7-day email sequence, just adding value and how we work, why they should work with us, but making it very relevant to the niche you've picked, and that's key. If they can see testimonials from other things as well. And this is an example I've been running for a while now, and it's I'm sure some people may pick some flaws with it, whether it's 80-20 rule in terms of images, but it works. I mean, we're getting leads of sort of between £3 and £5, and they convert really well. One thing I want to mention, that our thank you page also contains a Calendly book a call, which I'll show you an example in a minute on the next sort of slide, just to see. We're just trying to filter out those people who are a bit more warmer and a bit more urgent as well. What I found is that when you're doing sort of lead generation to help people that want to get clients, they're going to be interested. If you've got the positioning right, they're going to want to know who wants more clients, who doesn't. It's the lifeblood of any business, really. And one thing we do is we call the leads within 1 to 2 days as well. So as part of the lead gen capture, we ask for their phone number. And all we do really is just to offer a courtesy call. There's no hard sell, there's no buy now. We really just try and figure out where they are and kind of just, and then take it from there. And there's a reason for this, which I'll explain as we go through the webinar today. Okay, so I just want to share with you the lead magnet that we give away. So we've created this in Canva, and we've kind of expressed this as our blueprint for Facebook ads for financial services. So we talk about kind of what it's for, who it's for, kind of who I am, very briefly. Just a bit of a mind map in terms of my view of financial services in terms of lead generation as well. So everything that kind of goes through my head. We talk about the importance of picking a niche and help them understand, as a financial advisor, for example, I mentioned life insurance because it's one of our biggest clients. They just think, well, if they've got kids or they've got a home, we can sell 21, but actually it's too broad and you may need to niche down a bit further to stand out. I'll talk about the triggers. So when are they going to need a certain financial service product, and kind of talked about vision, sort of aspiration, planning, the life events and product led. So again, this is going to dictate the type of campaign and funnels you want to run. Talk about life events there. Talk about the strategy. So I'll talk about the types of funnels that work well for us. In financial services, doing guides work really well because people in information gathering mode, and it's important to build trust. Just briefly on funnels. I then talk about sort of Facebook ads framework. So we mainly use sort of Cat Howell's rapid fire testing framework, and we've kind of adapted that to financial services because it's important that you set the right expectation that although Facebook ads is very quick, we all know that you can create a Facebook ad campaign in 10 minutes. It's not difficult. What's difficult, or what could take some time, is finding a winning campaign. So I always say to my clients that you need to give Facebook ads a good 1 to 3 months. Really, you need to give it 1 to 3 months to get it working, and therefore you're not expecting sort of immediate results. Obviously, that will come faster as you've worked in a niche and you've delivered, but you want to give yourself some breathing space just to make sure that you test it properly, because you could run similar campaigns for different clients and sometimes they just don't work. So be wary in terms of kind of what you're promising and the expectations you're setting as well. And then just talk about the backend systems as well, and some case studies too, and some conversion rates. So ultimately, it's, especially in financial services, a lot of people want to know a case of, well, how many leads am I going to get? What's the cost per lead, and how many sales am I going to get as well? So once you've got some numbers, you can give some benchmark numbers, and it's all about then gathering data as well. At least they then can see when they are going to get return on investments. And also it allows you the chance to sort of weed out those people who have got unrealistic expectations as well. And I'm sure we've had those nightmare clients and those clients that have got the money, and don't get me wrong, money is everything, especially at the moment, but sometimes you've got to turn away clients if they're going to be too difficult to work with in the long run. Me personally, I don't care if they've got the money, but we've all got to go through that journey and experience. I've had some nightmare clients who I've had to let go, and in the early days, and I think that's just the nature of what it is. And the Calendly sort of link we redirect people to is just, as we've just gone through the blueprint, we try and get them to book a call with us just so that we can walk through kind of how we do it. It's exactly in the guide, basically, just walking through the process. We get a good uptake on this, but we don't get loads. And I'm not too worried, because we kind of play the long game, which is kind of what we do really, because in the financial services space, it is all about building trust. And there are too many people that promise the earth and manage to get a good paper lead order, for example, which is incredible, but they don't have the experience to deliver, or they can't deliver. So all of a sudden they're having to refund back the client's money and also spend their own money. So I think it's always good just to be prepared. And I think it takes time to get experience as well. Okay, that was the Facebook ads funnel. Just before I go on to what in terms of tech stack, what we use is we use sort of lead generation ads, which work quite well. We use Typeform as a landing page too, which, although it's quite basic, it works really well actually. And then we use Zapier an active campaign to deliver the guide and just do sort of email sequences and SMS too. So the next one is cold email. So it can be amazing once it's done correctly and very cheap too. So our approach is we keep our sort of cold email messages short and sweet. And what we do basically is ask them if they've got capacity to take on more clients. So a lot of the time people may say yes, they may say no, but it's quite a simple direct answer. And then I follow up with those people within 1 to 2 days as well. I mean, you are going to get yeses, going to get nos as well, but it's a great conversation starter really. And if they say yes, there's your opportunity to sort of reply back and get them on a call as well. So as mentioned, yeah, get them on a call and give them a specific day and time to speak. So maybe say you're free tomorrow at 2 or tomorrow at 4, and then it allows more space to, well, it gives you more opportunity to get them on the phone as well. We actually hire a VA just to get data for our campaigns. So whether it's Google Maps or first 1 to 2 pages of Google, and that's what we kind of use. We use Woodpecker as our cold email outreach tool, and that's kind of how we do it as well. I mean, example results we've seen where in December we sent out sort of 1,700 emails last year, and we've had 70 people respond, so about 26%. So that's an open rate. The percentage, I'm not sure. We get good responses where, I guess we're interested, what's the next step? So it's a great way to get people on the phone, and once it works, it's really cheap, an effective tool as well. I think you've just got to be careful. Don't overdo it in terms of send them an email, send a follow-up and leave it as that. Don't overkill it, because obviously you could get complaints and sort of spam warnings as well too. But there are ways around it which could ensure you get delivery and good responses. So this as a campaign is working really well. As mentioned, guys, if you have any questions, please answer them or ask them in the Q&A. And I'll try and get to them throughout the presentation or at the end. Okay, so the next one is Facebook groups. So this one is a bit more indirect. It's something I started doing personally last year. So there are plenty of sort of Facebook groups where, such as sort of there's Facebook ad Rockstars, there's Jeff Miller's one, there's Cat Owl's Facebook ad Hacked. But there are lots of businesses and also Facebook ad freelancers and agencies who just need help with sort of their campaigns and get stuck. And what I do is I spend sort of 15 to 20 minutes every day just adding value. I don't pitch, I don't send them a DM unless they have to. I really just focus on adding value. And the idea is to just get my name out there and get known for. And over time, your chosen niche will come up as well. And we're getting people just tagging me into it. So this is more of a long game. It's more indirect, but it works a treat. And like I say, I spend 15, 20 minutes a day doing it. When people will start to see a name, and I've done this consistently now for about sort of 12 to 18 months. And we get sort of daily requests for help. Now, obviously, if someone's asking people to direct message them, that's fine and it works really well. But it's quite a good way to get your name out there. And even if you can leave some really thoughtful answers that add value, that don't really sell, you're going to stand out. And it's a really good way to add value as well. As mentioned, the example groups here. So these are really good ones. They're really good. There's lots of people needing help daily across the world. And I've just mentioned we do it daily. We get loads of messenger requests. And as mentioned, there's a mixture of people to do it. We've landed some big clients actually from this approach as well. And people will start to notice your name as well. So I literally go to these groups and just see if I could add value. It's as simple as that. Okay, I just want to talk about sort of an attractive offer. So I appreciate some of you are just starting out. Sometimes some of you may struggle just to get clients on board. I just want to share with you what works for me. A good example is where there's a free pilot. So when we first started our agency, I'm not going to lie, we weren't the most experienced, but we had to start somewhere. I managed to convince someone to pay for the ad spend and some back-end commission where we did some testing. So I was very honest up front in terms of my experience, but I made an effort to understand their niche, which is kind of what won the work. I was just honest every step of the way. So that, as a pilot, works really well, but you've got to really don't offer them too often. Really think about, if I can deliver for this client, they may come customer, and we deliver. We had 2 pilots, both in financial services. We did a 2-month pilot with someone, and they ended up becoming a very long-term customer, and we deliver results. And for me, I don't stop at just, here's the leads, it's your problem now. I really understand what did it convert at, what was their feedback, how can we take them further down the sales funnel to add value? Because if your customers make sales and then money from it, they're going to come back to you for more. So really take an interest to go that step further, which is important. And another option is for those in the pay per lead niche is you could offer sort of 10 leads at a certain price as well. But you need to make sure you can deliver as well. I mean, we're always testing new offers. Sometimes it's more around how you position yourself and focus on outcome. When we did focus on financial services, we did talk about kind of how we work and the testing process and stuff. And if I'm honest with you, initially they just switched off. They didn't really care. But what they did care about is how many leads I want to get in month 1, and basically what's it going to convert at. And once you've started to get your own data and do it, you can start to feel a bit more confident with it. So sometimes it's just about positioning. And your offer will depend on, obviously, the packages as well, or how your business is set up. And as mentioned, you need to be confident you can deliver as well. And over time, you won't need to use offers as much because you will have sort of proven case studies, testimonials, and people will just want to queue up with you, which is kind of move us on nicely to the next sort of slide. So how do you lead with value and authority, especially in sort of a crowded space? Once you've decided on a niche, you want to become the go-to resource for that chosen niche. You want to give away your best stuff, share results, show you can deliver, add value. The way you can do that is by creating an audience where you can be seen daily. And the way we do that is we create a Facebook group. So everyone that comes into our world, whether it's through Facebook ads campaign or lead gen, we actually invite them into our closed Facebook group. So we've got a group called Lead Generation for Financial Advisors. And that's kind of where we go in daily to nurture people. Facebook are pushing groups a lot more, especially in news feeds. They're more likely to be seen sort of in that. So as mentioned, we just invite them in. It's a great opportunity to add value, but also add value in that chosen niche and space that you're in. I can't stress that enough. It's amazing how people will start to see your name daily and start to see, okay, that's Hitesh again. He's showed some results or showing an example strategy that works for a particular campaign. And don't be afraid to do it, because a lot of time people just want their lead gen done for them. So obviously you are going to get people who sneak into your group. I've got competitors who've snuck in, and mostly that's fine. Obviously you can control who comes in, but ultimately they've still ended up outsourcing to me or buying my course. So it's not the end of the world, really. So I recommend posting content daily. Should be value focused and not salesy. We don't sell a lot in our group. We just focus on nurture. We do obviously post offers from time to time. I'm not going to lie, but we don't go really heavy on it. Our idea is just to focus on engagement and make them feel involved. One thing we do is sometimes you can struggle for inspiration, in terms of there's only so much you can talk about Facebook ads on a daily basis. So we go onto a question and answer site called Quora. So we answer a question on there, and I get my team just to repurpose it slightly and add that into the group. So, and make it more relevant to that niche as well. So creating a Facebook group is good. And I think over time, Facebook will start to add people into your group organically. So we notice after 3 or 4 months, we're getting new people join up, and it's free leads. And what we've done is we put our lead magnet in there where they can sign up as well. So this is more of a long game. We've had people in our world for about 12 months, and all of a sudden they've just become customers. And it's not even about can we barter on price. It's a case of when can we start. So it doesn't happen overnight. but it's a great way to sort of nurture people that come into your world, and it's worked really well for us. Okay, I just want to touch on sales and onboarding. So for any leads that want to take the next step, it's important that you've got the correct processes and systems in place to make them take them one step. So you want to try and productize your offering as best you can. If you take a look at our website, we've tried to package up and productize so people can see what it is they're doing, and it allows them just to take the next step to get their campaign set up. So you want to make it as easy as possible and reduce the amount of steps, because obviously you've got to think about contracts, invoicing, a campaign brief, and even you need to access to their sort of Facebook ads account. We've got an online form which I'll just share with you real quick. Well, we try and ask, it's quite a long form, but we just try and get as much information from them. Now, you can do this in a kickoff call as well. It's up to you, but I send this out to all my customers that want to sign up, and we get some information about their business, their products and services, who their ideal customers, what they look like, what they currently do for their marketing, contact information. They select a package, and they also sort of review our sort of contracts, and it's kind of how we onboard people. We are building software to not only take people through that process, but allow them to connect their ads account and things like that, just to make it easier as well. So over time, you will refine this, and it'll get easier as well. And start documenting your sales script now, because I'm sure a lot of people are doing everything in their agency and their business, and we all start off like that. And the best thing I did is I hired a kind of a VA who she's now kind of turned into my ops manager, and we've kind of just documented processes to the point where my sales team know how I sell it, and kind of they can just rehearse it and do it as well. And record your calls as well, providing there's permission from the customer or the lead. That's a good way to do it as well. Okay, so that's kind of how we do it at LTW Digital. I hope you've kind of found it useful. Please ask your questions. If there's anything you want to know, or kind of just pick my brains or want me to go through anything, please just ask them in the Q&A now or the chat. I'll happily answer them. All these methods we've gone through are simple and very easy to implement once you know what you're doing. And I think we've all got to test is, you hear the analogy, how much time do we spend working on our business rather than in it? I think it's important that you do that once you can. And having a predictable sales pipeline is important for any business, really. So if you can get that right, you don't have to worry about where your next customer is going to come from. So really, the biggest takeaway is pick a niche and sort of become that go-to person in that niche of Facebook ads. And having that laser focus is going to be good. And we've been doing financial services now for about 2 years, and it's working well. And we're really now starting to explore the spaces where we're seeing opportunities. Also, having a nurtured lead pool is going to give you an endless supply of leads who are going to see you daily. So sometimes people just want to see how good you are. Building trust and authority takes time, and sometimes can't be done over a single phone call. So if you can continue to nurture people over time, it is going to add value. And I promise you, it's worth the investment in time. It's really not a lot of effort if you do a bit of planning and put the groundwork in place. And then hiring a VA to do some of this work is not really expensive either. I mean, my VA, when we first hired her, when I was starting out, I think I was paying her sort of $200, $300 a month. And as we've grown, her role has kind of just gone through as well. So if you want to answer your questions, I'll go through them at the end as well. So thank you. So for those that have liked what we've seen, who are serious about growing their agency, I just want to invite you to the next step, which is invite you to the Agency Blueprint membership, which we are launching sort of Monday, actually. I want to give you access to all the proven strategies that I've gone through today, and just really give them to you. There's no holding back at all. So everything from Facebook ads, cold email, Facebook groups, how we do it, and also anything new that we implement as well, and more. I want to show you how you can lead with authority and add value, and don't underestimate the nurturing process. I mean, on average, we're currently trying to figure out how long does it take for someone to become a customer when you consider this sort of funnel. And we've had people in our world for about 12 months, and which is fine, and they've become a customer. But it's actually helped, and one of them has actually become our biggest paying client, who's sort of paying for 50% of our sort of revenue, which is great as a kind of a small business. You also want to make sure how you want to onboard customers smoothly, and that's kind of, we're always testing and refining, and that's kind of, we're happy to share with you what we're doing, the questions we're asking, just so that you can get the campaign off to a good start. We'll give you all the example funnels, the lead magnets, the ad copy, everything that we use. There's no holding back. So I don't just teach theory. I want to really give it to you. We take a lot of pride in what we do, and I kind of want to sort of share that sort of advice sort of with you. Even I'll share the funnels with you rather as well. We're always testing new things. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's taken some time just to get working funnels, but we're always testing, finding different ways. As Facebook is becoming more expensive, we are trying to find different ways to generate leads. Pinterest is becoming quite good. Quora is actually another good channel. There's loads of people asking questions for Facebook ads on there, and the traffic is quite cheap. I'm sure LinkedIn and Google over time will get. Google's always going to be there, but it's very expensive. LinkedIn works quite well too. So all I'd say to you is pick one and then just master it. But the idea of this membership is to fast track everything that we've learned and share that with you, and really help you, myself and my team, just be laser focused for the niche so you get it converting as well. We do weekly sort of Zoom calls with me and my team just to deep dive into your campaigns and kind of make sure that they're working for you as well. And also you'll get access to a closed group, the Agency Blueprint as well. So again, you'll have access to me as much as you need it and my team. And also learn from your peers as well, because if you pick a niche, you may end up deciding to do a local-based audience as well. So as mentioned, it's taken a lot of blood, sweat and tears to get to this point. On our own campaigns, we spent about sort of $13,000 over a 2-year period, which, okay, to a small business, it could be a lot of money. For someone who's a bit more established, it's probably nothing. And you can, and let's be clear, you can do this yourself. There's nothing here you can't do yourself. But effectively, a lot of people want business now. Given the times we live in, they want to be able to recover as quickly as possible. As mentioned, we did a lot of testing over a 2-year period. And you'll get access to all those sort of working funnels and insights. And as mentioned, we got our cost per lead or a cost per sort of person into our world, and the quality was really good, down to about £5 or $6 as well. And I suppose the question is, do you have time and even money to invest this yourself? I mean, we spend sort of, when we first started out, we sort of started out with £10 or $15 per day with our own campaigns. And to be honest with you, we kind of just spend that now at the moment because we want to get people into our world and play the long game and focus on closing those leads who are ready to buy now. But as a freelancer or a small agency wanting to take the next step, I think £10 or $15 a day, my experience is more than enough to start testing, adding value. And I want to basically just speed that process up for you once you've chosen your niche as well. And there's no reason why you couldn't take what I shared with you today and tailor it to your niche once you know more about them. So as I mentioned, we go live sort of on Monday next week, and I want to kind of invite you guys to be a part of the sort of founding members office. We're normally going to charge sort of £197 a month or $237 a month. But for the webinar price, we're going to do it for just £97, or I think, to be honest with you, it's about $97 with the exchange rate as well at the moment. There's no contracts, just monthly rolling. So if you're not happy or not satisfied, as mentioned, we take pride in what we do. We want to make sure you deliver. But there's no love lost if you don't want to proceed. And there's a link if you want to join. And as mentioned, the offer ends this Sunday. We launch Monday. So effectively, depending on obviously the take-up we get, we probably are going to close enrollment as well, just so that we can really focus our attention on kind of those agencies that want help now. And I'm not going to lie to you, we've lost 1 or 2 retainer clients at the moment, but we've actually, because of the nurtured approach we're using, our biggest clients are still doing well because they're still making sales. So that's the important thing to be wary of. So there's the link if you need be. And I just want to share some testimonials with you as well. Cool, so as mentioned, I take pride in what I do. I love adding value. I love making sure, because if you deliver, we deliver together. And that's the important thing really to get across today. Cool, so guys, I just want to say thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate, obviously we're in difficult times at the moment. And I will answer any questions. There are kind of a few questions I've had kind of before, and sometimes people are afraid to grow. They're afraid to sort of take on new clients. And the approach we're talking about can be done slow and steady. And the idea of a Facebook ads group is you can nurture people and then basically reach out to them as and when. We're starting to get my sales team use Messenger and do some outreach as well. So although you can get success overnight, you can also sort of do it slow and steady as well. So don't be afraid about over delivering as well. And as we all know, if you get it right, you could get a flood of leads coming in, which is a good thing. But then also you can then position that in your sales process as well. Cool. So thank you. I'm going to just go over to the chat and Q&A and just answer some questions. So if you want to, for those that are still on the call, if you want to ask any questions there, I'll just go through. So that's okay. So John McManus, what was the name of the email tool you use? It's actually Woodpecker. Let me share that with you. So there is some sort of, I think it's like $50 a month per user. It's not expensive. There is some setup required, especially just making sure emails get delivered. But in the membership, I actually share with you what we do and kind of using different domains and things like that as well. So John, let me know if that answered your question. Okay. Okay, this one's anonymous. How about for new customers who recently learned Facebook ads during quarantine and to have case studies present to clients? So when we started out, although we had some Facebook ads experience, we didn't sort of we didn't have any case studies, and we picked sort of one where we know that there's an average order value, so financial services. We made an effort to really just when you're doing things for free, and if you're paying for the ad spend and just asking for a video testimonial, you are going to grab attention. So, but what we then did is showcased how much we knew about the industry and just did our research really, and just gave it as a value. It takes time. Don't get me wrong, you can't, because there's loads of people doing it, and sometimes you just need to give an offer where it's kind of low risk for your client and yourself and just your time, and you really just want to be honest. Really, don't promise anything. And there are clients out there who see that is a test and learn approach, or even maybe those that have been burned before with a Facebook ads professional. And I think that's something you can do just to get your kind of foot in the door and be honest. And that's kind of how we did it. It's quite humble. And you just want to maybe decide on a niche and just focus on that and really make it a no-brainer. Okay, so I'll just answer that. So this is from Lee Blake. For a beginner like me, where can I get started to learn Facebook ads free or cheap? So I mean, YouTube's a great example. I think Kat Howell is kind of, she's got her FATC program, which is kind of where we started, and our framework's been on there. If you join our membership, we can kind of share with you what we do. Sometimes you've just got to do it. I think her membership, I think is, I can't remember the price, but from a Facebook ads operational point of view, highly recommend it. We kind of build a business upon it. But the other thing is YouTube. The other thing is maybe pick a niche and start testing yourself. That's the best way to do it. I hope that answers your question, Lee. Romus, thanks for the presentation. Thank you. Thanks, John. Okay, James Lum. What ad copy do you use for someone seeking a loan? Are you, so presumably doing the UK? I think from a financial services point of view, especially say life insurance and loans, people don't want the product, they want the outcome. So at the moment, think about why someone may need a loan. Is it for expansion? Is it to help pay their employees? Because in the UK, although the government have given the generous sort of support package, I know directors of small limited companies may not be applicable. So you could actually target sort of the outcome, say make sure that you can keep your business afloat with a low interest loan, and maybe talk it that way. Does that make sense, James? Again, because we're in the financial services space, we can give you example ad copy and stuff we've used for businesses in that group as well. But like with any campaign, focus on the outcome. Focus on what's in it for your customer rather than selling the product. So at the end of the day, people don't want a loan for the sake of a loan. They want it because they want to do something with it. I hope that answers your question, James. Lee, thanks. Alexandru, how do you find the initial cold email addresses? Do you use data mining companies? Do you use pre-checked emails before sending to possible leads? So if I'm honest with you, they're all viable. I mean, we've tried buying data in, but we simply just gone to Google, and let me show you. And typed in financial advisor. Yuck. Can't spell. And I've had the VA, my team, just go through the first 2 pages and just pick them off, or even using directories. So, I mean, you have to test it, Alexandru. I think there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, we, in terms of our campaigns, we only send about 10 to 20 a day, so we do it slow and steady. So I think if they're on the first page of Google, even the second page, just check them out. Just see if they're active on Facebook, on social media. Just see if they are an active business. You just got to test it. I mean, because we've got a VA to do it, it's actually worked quite well. You're going to get some of the bounce and stuff. Sometimes you can do it as well, but we start small, which is kind of what we do. We don't go sort of overkill. Does that answer your question? I think just to be clear as well, it's B2B. So from the Europe, from a GDPR point of view, there's a legitimate interest. So you can get away with sending one email to maybe a follow-up, but using it for B2C, it's not going to work. So because you're just going to get complaints, and you could even get hefty fines as well. Did that answer your question, Alexandru? If you just let me know. Cool, great, thank you. Cool, that's all the questions I've got in the Q&A. Is there any other questions? Does anyone want me to show you anything, or show you the guide again? By all means, get in touch. We're not going anywhere given the lockdown and stuff, but happy just to answer any value as well. So they're just those that are thinking about it. By all means, if you have a question later on, send me an email. And as mentioned, the introductory offer ends on Sunday and we go live on Monday. So providing my 3-year-old lets me record the sessions, we probably may do some of the sessions live, so you'll get interacted and also get a chance to shape it around kind of your business. So there's the link. If you have any questions, please reach out, and I'll hope to see you there. I'll just hold on for a few minutes just to see. But I suppose finally, for those that are still watching, did you find this useful today? If you could just add a message in the chat. Cool, thanks, James. Just on just one final thing, actually, just while I remember, I know a lot of people in, say, dentists and things like that have lost a lot of clients because the business had to close. Financial services work quite well for us, and there's a big need. People are wanting sort of protection products or financial reassurance because the markets have just gone crazy. Maybe pick businesses where they could go online and offer their services digital. So maybe they could offer a delivery service. That's one thing. Or maybe they could offer, maybe coaches can do it online as well. So have a think about what businesses could still thrive in this space, and maybe that's a start for 10. Or even kind of help travel companies. The travel industry globally is just gone bust. And I'm trying to think of ways with a friend of mine who's saying, how could we support them now and add value so that when things do clear and things clear up again, you could actually just hit the ground running. So don't be prepared to test and really think about, rather than there's so much negativity in the news at the moment, how could you stay one step ahead and just be proactive and be positive? That's the best thing you can do, really, in reassurance. Cool. Alexandra, thank you. Lee, great. Right, guys, I think my 3-year-old is screaming at the door. Thank you for your time again. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email or messenger, or if you want to jump on a call to answer any further questions. And yeah, I hope you stay safe, and I'll hopefully see some of you next week. Bye for now.